It was a bad day for Shaneen Allen and for justice here in New Jersey. Shaneen Allen was arrested and charged with illegally carrying a firearm in New Jersey, even though she legally owned that gun and had a concealed carry permit for it in Philadelphia. Here at the courthouse in Mays Landing, a Superior Court judge denied both of the motions made by Shaneen's attorney, Evan Knappen.
I cannot agree with the defense interpretation of the statute.
One was to have her case dismissed because of a firearm amnesty that was in effect when Shaneen was arrested. The other was to have her enrolled in a PTI, pre-trial intervention program. Shaneen will now stand trial October 6th for what she has made clear from the very start was an honest mistake. Take a look.
New Jersey is basically a freedom hell if you believe in personal freedoms.
Is New Jersey that superior to the rest of the United States that their license is so sacred and sacrosanct that they cannot recognize a single other license based on a Second Amendment constitutional right issued by any other state?
They don't care that I'm a single mom. I'm a medical assistant, and I also do home care. I initially went to go buy a firearm because I was robbed twice last year. It was just something I had to do to help protect me and my kids. I'm not a criminal.
It's just because New Jersey's law is insane.
And I respect the law, and I'm taking responsibility of my mistake, but that's exactly what it was, an honest mistake.
It could have happened to anyone. It could have happened to you. It could have happened to me, any law-abiding citizen.
I still can't believe it. And I have to worry about spending 3 years in state prison without my kids. Where's justice in that?
She's come underneath a very draconian law. Welcome to New Jersey.
It was early in the morning, and Shaneen Allen was driving here on the Atlantic City Expressway, headed to a surprise birthday party for her 3-year-old son, when she looked in the rear-view mirror and saw flashing lights from a state trooper's car. So she pulled over.
The first officer told me that, he's pulling me over for failure to maintain my lane. Then he asked me for my credentials, like my license and registration and insurance. As I went to reach into my purse, I gladly let him know that I was licensed to carry and I had my firearm on me, because that's what you're supposed to do. And I even gave them a receipt, to show them that I only had my firearm a week.
No good deed ever goes unpunished. She did the right thing. She obeyed what she thought the law was without realizing that New Jersey doesn't respect freedom.
Over there is totally different. They try to use it against you.
First thing that was going through my mind was I didn't want him to pull out on me and shoot me, to think I was a threat to him.
And it could have been a lot worse. No officer wants to shoot somebody, right? They don't want that.
At that time, he called for backup and asked for me and my kid's father to step out the vehicle. Took me to the back of the vehicle, he cuffed me, and I asked him why was he cuffing me, and he just told me to be quiet. They took us back to the station, put me into a cell, cuffed me, shackled me to a bench. They was trying to see how to open my firearm. I had 3 locks on it, 3 safeties, and I was trying to let him know that the key was on my wrist at the time.
He arrested me as well, and he told us that was procedure. He had put me in a holding cell for about 6 hours. I felt like I was being treated like a criminal.
Did the officers ever tell you the reason they were arresting you? Because you couldn't carry a firearm in New Jersey, even though you have a carry license in Pennsylvania. Did they tell you that?
No, actually, initially they didn't tell me that. They just told me that I couldn't have possibly knew about the law because I wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't have been so gracious to just give it up. And, we probably could have let you go and would have just gave you a violation if you didn't say anything. I spent 46 days in jail. That's when I found out that my PA license is not good in Jersey.
New Jersey hates guns, and when it comes to guns, all rationality goes out the window.
The judge told me that me telling the truth doesn't matter in this case. It got me in trouble. And I didn't understand that. How can that be? It was more right than telling the truth.
Yet here, the exact opposite message is being sent. Here it says more than ever, don't tell the police, keep your mouth shut, don't say anything, or you're gonna end up doing hard time in state prison. What I call folks like Shaneen are law-abiding criminals because the law has turned her into a criminal, even though she's a law-abiding citizen.
Why is this woman being harassed? Assemblyman Greenwald, he was the one that proposed that ridiculous magazine ban. She's clearly not a criminal, clearly a danger to no one. At worst, she violated a paper statute. So what?
I can't say why she was denied PTI. It's a great program for first offenders.
PTI is pretrial intervention, in which you do a period of probation and the charges get dismissed. You don't have a criminal record. You don't go to jail. Shaneen applied to that program, got approved by the program director, yet denied by the same prosecutor who put Ray Rice into the program. NFL player Ray Rice. allegedly there on video beating his significant other to unconsciousness. He gets indicted for aggravated assault, a felony in New Jersey, and yet he gets PTI. What kind of discretion is being exercised there?
Well, he didn't have a gun.
Criminals out here every day, and they're cutting deals to people that are molesting kids and that are shooting people, and they're free. Where is the second chance for me?
What's the line? Hoplophobia, the word that they coined, an irrational fear of firearms. In our state, you can beat the stuffing out of somebody, but if you don't use a gun, you got a better chance of getting in. They're very reluctant to do anything with PTI that has to do with firearms.
Well, when I was prosecutor, I sent out a memo essentially explaining that I had a less strict attitude towards people coming to Atlantic City inadvertently carrying because they have permits to carry, because Atlantic City is a draw. Now, again, I had a different philosophy apparently than the current prosecutor, but I can't ascribe to him my philosophy about guns.
You want to talk about common sense? PTI program is set up for exactly a Shaneen Allen, for someone who makes an honest mistake, who has a victimless crime charge. It is the reason for this program.
I think that they're trying to win a case, another conviction with me. That's all it really is.
They're trying to make an example out of her for just having a gun.
I have 5 other cases from this county of law-abiding citizens with carry licenses. It's a minimum 3 years, up to 10. Look, this has got to stop.
The solution to the problem isn't giving people like her PTI. The solution is not arresting her in the first place.
It's been a nightmare. She's got fired from her job, even though you're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. Our rights have been lost incrementally. We need to gain them back. This is why national carry reciprocity is a solution.
Now, normally, again, I'm not a big fan of federal intrusion in state affairs, but New Jersey is hopeless unless a substantial number of my colleagues are mugged by a sudden bout of common sense. I think the only way that we're ever going to see reasonable protection of basic freedoms is for the feds to step in.
Shaneen is the best example I know of why we need national reciprocity. We can't afford to have more people like Shaneen Allen being ruined and, of course, becoming a felon.
Our constitutional rights ought to be uniform across state lines.
And my goal is for her not to have a felony record where she can no longer be a gun owner. She's suffered enough.
I'm praying that this all goes away and then we can go back to our normal life. It was an honest mistake.
It's not just for me. This is all I had. This is all I had, these boys right here. And I hope this helps everybody that does have their license to carry and is trying to protect their family or just trying to live day to day.
She does not belong in state's prison, and she should not be made a felon and have her life destroyed. So that's what we're fighting for. New Jersey's gun laws are out of control.
Here you have a mom who did everything right in her home state of Pennsylvania, got her concealed weapon permit, got her gun, decided to travel, wanted to be safe, carries her gun, crosses over into the modern-day East Germany, or as other people call it, New Jersey, and she's facing a long jail stretch as a single mom in the same state. And if you haven't seen the video, go check it out, because then you get to see Ray Rice. What does he weigh, 220 pounds? Probably, I mean, he's nothing but a big walking, talking muscle. You get to see him clock his girlfriend in one side of her head and watch her head collide with the rail in an elevator with the other side of her head. And he got a slap on the wrist. And the same prosecutors that could have prosecuted him that should have prosecuted him, because odds are, I don't know his history or anything about that, but odds are that if he's struck a woman, he's probably done it more than once. Maybe the same woman, and now they're married. You know, he knocked her into a mini coma. I mean, she laid there for a long time. He gets off with a slap on the wrist. Single mom, didn't commit a crime except driving in New Jersey with a gun. So she's charged with an illegal gun and illegal ammo. Now, Sharpton and Jackson came out for Trayvon Martin, an alleged burglar interested in street fighting, abusing drugs, dealing illegal weapons. When he was killed attempting to beat another man to death, the civil rights community came out in force to seek justice. Then there's Michael Brown, strong arm robbery suspect, caught on tape, shot and killed after he breaks a police officer's face and tries to get his gun and discharges the gun in the car, and then is charging him when he gets shot again. And both times, the civil rights community comes out in force to seek justice. Then there's Shaneen Allen, hard-working mother of two. She got her gun after twice being robbed by thugs like Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. But she made one big mistake. She went to New Jersey. She now faces a felony criminal record and years in prison away from her sons merely because she crossed the state line and told the officer the truth, that she had a concealed weapon in the car. Where are Jackson and Sharpton now? For the moms that demand action because they don't want guns carried in Kroger to protect the children, where are they now? Where's Quanell X and the new Black Panthers? Where's the Huey P. Newton Gun Club? Where's the NAACP? Where's the Congressional Black Caucus? Where is Eric Holder, who is always so quick to launch a federal investigation at the slightest hint that race may be a factor in a trial? And why isn't Barack Obama out there saying Shaneen Allen could be my daughter? Why is she being allowed to be made an example of by what is now a disreputable prosecutor and a judge? And they both let this Ray Rice off the hook because he's a celebrity, I guess. Never heard of him but until he clocked his fiancée. Can only violent drug-abusing criminals be the allegorical child of the golfer-in-chief? Here's the problem. It's not about the color unless it's the color green. Most of the noted black American leaders, who a lot of black America distances them, don't claim them, don't want them. They're merely henchmen of the radical left wing of the Democratic Party. They get trotted out when it's advantageous to use the issue of race as a political weapon. My biggest problem here is that you can find racism in plenty of places, no doubt about it. And when real, genuine racism is happening, then you have to go there and you have to do something about it. But when the squeaky wheel is screaming in a non-racial incident, which violence is colorblind, being victimized is colorblind. It's a crime of opportunity. When real racism is out there, how often do we hear about that actually happening? But then, you know, all these other guys that I just mentioned, they're always running out somewhere, either claiming the racial card if you go against this or that because the person happens to be black or Hispanic or Arabic, and they don't pay attention to the regular thing. And you know why they don't? Because it's not profitable. Deep down, below skin color, where the heart and the soul and the mind matters, they don't care about justice at all. They care about their own selfish greed and economic fortune and their own political power and influence. I mean, here's an opportunity to stand up for somebody that's good and honest and hardworking and a female whose only error was making a simple mistake of assuming that her constitutional rights applied in New Jersey. And every one of these so-called pundits in matters of race have abandoned her. They have offered her up as a sacrifice. They want to make an example of her in New Jersey. And it's not about what color she is. It's about that she had a gun. They're going to allow a judicial lynching and just let it happen. And to each one of you that may follow these guys and think they may have some credence, those guys, all of these people I've mentioned are cowards. Absolute cowards. Law-abiding people don't matter to them. So who's defending this young lady that the anti-gun Democrats are so very eager to see an example made of? It's the racists that are doing it, you know, in the colorblind, politically agnostic gun community that's stepping up for her defense, including the NRA. People are stepping forward in an effort to help her when these radicals have attempted to portray her as a malcontent. We're the ones that they characterize as the old fat white guys that are raising money for her defense and standing up for her, while the cowards stay in the shadows.
I've also asked the school board to make a part of every day some kind of anti-violence, anti-gun message. Every day, every school, at every level. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
Brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. Brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people.
It's not about keeping guns out of the hands of law-abiding Americans. And I'm sick and tired of people lying to the American people.
We're not proposing a gun registration system. We're proposing background checks for criminals.
No one's taking away all the guns.
One will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
I'd love to see that. In uniform.
You've heard it here. I'm on television, so everybody knows it. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in people's lawful right to bear arms. I will not take your shotgun away. I will not take your rifle away. I won't take your handgun away.
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
Put it down.